Begin by placing the base of your big toes together and aligning the outside of your feet so that they are parallel. Gently engage the muscles of your legs as if they were hugging the bones. Then bring your awareness to your hips. To help find your neutral pelvis, we'll exaggerate two common imbalances. Place your hands on your hips and tilt your pelvis forward until your tailbone lifts and the arch of your back increases. Now, tilt your pelvis the opposite direction by rocking your hips back and tucking your tailbone under until your thighs jut forward and your chest collapses. To find neutral, draw your thigh bones slightly back and lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Lift your hip points and gently engage your lower abdominal muscles. You will repeat these pelvic movements in many of your poses. Release your arms alongside your body. Elongate up through your spine and abdominal region. Lift your chest and broaden the front of your collarbones. Imagine that your lungs are filled with helium and continue to float the chest upward and expand it outward. Support this internal height by moderately engaging your shoulder blades against the back of your ribs. With your chin parallel to the horizon, place your skull directly over the center of your spine. Soften and relax your eyes, ears, and jaw while you continue to draw your attention inward. Take a deep breath and feel the stable column of your entire body. Begin face down on your sticky mat and place your fingertips in line with the center of your chest. Press up to all fours and keep your hands and feet where they are. Transition into the pose by tucking your toes under and lifting your hips toward the ceiling. Straighten your knees, draw your thighs back, and lift your hips higher. Engage your quadriceps by drawing them up. Complement this by reaching your heels down. Most practitioners' heels don't touch the floor, so don't let your mind or ego get caught up in this detail. With your breath strong and steady, begin refining the pose by bringing your attention to your hands. See that the front of your wrists are parallel to the front of your mat. Spread your fingers and press down through the base of your fingers. Extend strongly through your arms so that your elbows are straight. Gently spiral your elbow creases forward to align your shoulders and broaden the inner border of your shoulder blades. As you reach strongly through your arms, press your thighs back and feel your spine getting longer. Breathe deeply and smoothly as you create length, space, and strength in your entire body. Lower your knees to the floor in order to release the pose. Begin in downward facing dog. Rock forward until your shoulders are directly above your wrists and your forearms are vertical. Your entire body should resemble a plank of wood. Spread your fingers wide apart, root down through the base of your fingers, and press the floor away from you. Rotate your elbow creases toward your thumbs and lift the back of your heart to broaden the inner border of your shoulder blades. Now, draw your navel toward your spine and lengthen your tailbone toward your heels. Notice how this prevents your lower back from collapsing and keeps your ribs and pelvis integrated. Firm the front of your thighs strongly to support the weight of your pelvis. Keep your head in the same plane as the rest of your body. Don't let it drop. Feel this intensity and breathe smoothly. To release the pose, slowly lower your knees to the floor and rest in child's pose. To begin, start in downward facing dog. Rock forward to plank pose and lower your knees to the floor. Bend your elbows, hugging them into your sides, and lower your chest forward and down until your upper arms are parallel to the floor. Keep your pelvis, torso, shoulders, and head in one plane. Engage your shoulder blades against your back and draw your shoulders away from your ears. Transition to upward facing dog by straightening your elbows, lifting your chest until your shoulders stack directly over your wrists, and lowering your hips. Press the top of your feet into the floor, lift your thighs, and draw up through your chest. Press the base of your fingers into the floor, broaden your collarbones, and firm your shoulder blades against your back. Draw back into downward facing dog and take 2 slow, deep breaths before repeating the pose with straight legs. Rock forward to plank pose and keep your legs straight. In addition to the work of your arms, focus on engaging your thighs and abdominal muscles. Inhale, press back through your heels and draw forward through your crown and chest. Exhale, bend your elbows and lower halfway to the floor. Shoulders, elbows, torso, pelvis, and legs in the same plane. Inhale, shift into upward facing dog by straightening your elbows, aligning your arms so that they are vertical, and lifting your chest. Continue to work your thighs and engage your abs. Take 1 more inhalation in upward facing dog. Then exhale, shift back into downward facing dog and feel the sensations of your entire body. Bring your knees to the floor and release into child's pose for a moment of rest. Take a wide stance, rotate your right foot out, and place your hands on your hips. Turn your back foot in 25 to 45 degrees and align your heels. Notice how your back foot is turned in more here than it was in Warrior 2, Triangle Pose, and Side Angle Pose. Bend your front shin so that it is directly above your ankle and your shin bone is vertical. Take a moment to feel the stretch in your inner thighs, groins, and hips. If the sensation is too mild, step your feet further apart. As you do this, make sure that you keep your front shin vertical. Now that your stride is a challenging yet sustainable width, rotate your hips toward your front foot. Very few people will be able to completely square the hips towards the front leg. So, instead of forcing the movement, simply rotate your hips forward until they stop. Create more space in your lower back by lengthening upward through the front of your hips, navel, and spine. Draw your tailbone down and reach your arms strongly towards the ceiling, elongating your torso. Keep your arms shoulder width apart and focus on straightening your elbows completely. Breathe deeply as you further energize your back leg, spine, and arms. Drop your front thigh more deeply into the pose for one last breath. Now, slowly straighten your front leg, release your arms, and prepare for your second side. To begin, bring your hands to your hips, step your feet wide apart, and turn your right foot out. Turn your back foot slightly inward and align your heels with each other. Bend your front knee so that it is directly above your ankle. See that your shin is vertical. Take a moment to feel the degree of sensation in your inner thighs and hips. If you want a deeper stretch, simply step your back foot further away. As you do this, make sure that you keep your front shin vertical. When the degree of sensation is just right, that sweet spot where you're entering a challenge but not straining, you'll know that your feet are perfectly spaced for now. Now that your stride is set, it's time to make some refinements. Engage your back leg more strongly, align your front knee so that it points towards your second and third toe, and gently rotate your hips away from your front thigh. Create a neutral pelvis by lengthening your tailbone down, lifting your hip points up, and engaging your lower abdominal muscles. Keep both of your hips level, lengthen your spine, and broaden your chest. Bring your awareness to your arms, vigorously extend them away from each other, and gaze towards your right fingers. Broaden your shoulder blades and lengthen through your outer arms. Keep your arms aligned with each other and feel the integration of your upper body. Keep your eyes relaxed and breathe smoothly. Feel the quiet strength of your entire body. Slowly straighten your front leg, turn your feet parallel, release your arms, and take your second side. Begin in Tadasana. Bend your right knee, grasp your right shin as close to your ankle as possible, and place your right foot on your inner left thigh. Place both hands on your hips. Elongate through your standing leg and firmly squeeze your right foot and left thigh together. If you're unable to lift your foot all the way onto your thigh, simply bring your foot to your ankle. With your foot pressing firmly into your standing leg, align both of your hip points so that they are facing straight forward. As you do this, gently draw your right knee back. Fold your palms together so that your thumbs touch your heart. Firm your shoulder blades into your back in order to lift and broaden your chest. Inhale, lengthen your torso, and reach your arms up, shoulder width apart. Invigorate your arms, straighten your elbows, and turn your palms to face each other. In order to help you balance, softly gaze toward a fixed point in front of you. If you notice that you are holding your breath and becoming rigid, practice releasing this unnecessary tension. Soften your eyes and jaw while you deepen your breath. Slowly lower your arms and right leg in order to release the pose. Now, take your second side. Begin in Tadasana with the base of your big toes touching and your outer feet parallel. Place your hands on your hips, bend your knees, and lower your hips as if you're sinking down into a chair. Keep both of your knees facing straight forward. Root down through your heels and lower further still until you are at a maximum without strain. You should feel your thighs engage intensely. Notice how your pelvis tilts forward, your tailbone lifts, and your lower back arches. Balance this tilt by lengthening your tailbone down and drawing up through your hip points and lower abdomen. This will create length in your lower back and will enable you to lift your chest. If your lower back still feels compressed, lift up out of the pose slightly and tuck your tailbone more strongly. From here, fold your palms together. Firm your shoulder blades against your back, broaden your collarbones, and lift your breastbone. Tap into the strength of your breath and reach your arms strongly overhead, shoulder width apart, palm facing each other. Cultivate a feeling of fortitude as you lengthen up through the outer ribs, through the armpits, and into the elbows and fingers. Relax your jaw and soften your eyes. To come out, straighten your legs and release your arms by your sides. Take a slow, deep breath. Begin the pose by sitting on the front edge of a folded blanket. Bend your knees and place the bottom of your feet together. Bring your heels close to your pubic bone so that your legs fold deeply and you feel a light stretch in your inner legs. Press your fingertips into the floor next to your hips and lengthen up from your hips to the crown of your head. If you notice that your pelvis slumps back and your lower back collapses, sit on another blanket. Now, press your heels together and encourage the top of your thighs to release toward the floor. Separate the top edges of your feet like two halves of a book. Gently draw your abdominal muscles towards your spine to support the length of your torso. Initiate the forward bend by rocking your pelvis forward. Keep your spine long and walk your hands in front of you to support the weight of your upper body. Continue releasing into a forward bend until you feel a moderate stretch in the inner thigh and groin. Be sure that you don't compensate for tension in your legs by rounding your back. Once you are in your maximum forward bend without strain, repeat the fundamental actions of the pose. Press your outer heels together, lengthen your inner knees away from your groins, hollow your lower belly, and move your chest forward. Breathe slowly and deeply into places where you feel tension. Relax your facial muscles and jaw as you draw your attention inward. To release the pose, inhale as you slowly lengthen and lift your torso back to vertical. To begin, take hold of a belt, line your back, and straighten both legs. Inhale as you bend your right knee and draw your right thigh toward your chest. Hold the belt with both hands and wrap it around the arch of your right foot. Exhale and extend your leg up toward the ceiling. Keep your elbows straight and make sure that your upper back and head are resting comfortably on the floor. In order to completely stretch your hamstrings, it's important that you completely straighten your top knee. However, it is not important that your top leg is vertical. If your legs are tight, simply move your front thigh away from your upper body. If you are more flexible, move your top thigh toward your upper body to deepen the pose. Once you find the placement of your leg that suits your body, bring your attention to your bottom leg. Lengthen from deep inside your hip all the way through the center of your heel. Ground the back of your thigh toward the floor and gently rotate your thigh bone inward. From there, gently rock the front of your pelvis forward so that your lower back arches mildly away from the floor. This movement is subtle and may require you to move your top leg slightly away from you. Keep your breath steady and continue refining the pose by drawing your upper arms more deeply into their shoulder sockets. Draw the shoulder blades away from your ears and make sure that your arms are not overworking or hunching toward your neck. Release all unnecessary tension from your body as you continue to work your limbs thoroughly. Soften your facial muscles, relax your jaw, and quiet the mind. Take one more slow, smooth, deep breath. As you exhale, release your right leg and prepare for the second side. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Initiate the pose by gently pressing your lower back down so that your tailbone curls slightly up. Root through your feet and begin to peel your hips away from the floor. Mindfully roll up, vertebra by vertebra, and keep your tailbone reaching toward the back of your knees. Focus on keeping your lower back long, distributing the arch evenly along your entire spine. Tuck your shoulders underneath your chest. Hold the outer edges of your sticky mat, or interlace your fingers and burrow downward into the mat with your arms. Breathe slowly and deeply into your abdomen. Lengthen your tailbone and your lower back as you shift your attention to your legs. Align your thighs so that they are parallel to each other and position your knees directly over your ankles. Your shins should be vertical. Root down through the base of your big toes and float your pelvis just a touch higher. Expand your chest, heart, and lungs as your breath saturates your front body. Practice deepening your pose without losing the integrity of your alignment or sacrificing the comfort of your lower back and knees. Take one more expansive inhalation, then exhale slowly and lower yourself down to the floor. Observe the sensations of your body and breath as you take a moment of stillness. To begin, place your shins on the floor with your toes touching. Separate your knees slightly wider than your hips and lower your sitting bones toward your heels. Hinge forward from your pelvis and walk your hands in front of you. Slowly lower your torso all the way to your thighs and rest your forehead on the floor. Place your head on a block or a blanket if it doesn't comfortably come to the ground. Rest your elbows, forearms, and palms on the floor in front of you. Make sure that your neck is comfortable. As you settle in, direct your breath into your lower back and side ribs. Feel the gentle expansion of your back body as you inhale. Feel the subtle release of your body as you exhale. Deepen the pose by allowing your body to sink more deeply into the ground. Observe the fold of your legs, the relaxation of your abdomen, and the release of your arms. Yoga teaches us to open and expand our body, but it also encourages us to turn inward and find a sense of shelter. Appreciate the state of quietude, relaxation, and reflection for one more breath. To lift out of the pose, place your hands underneath your shoulders and press yourself upright. Pause for a moment and feel the aftertaste of the pose.